My key slid into the lock, but it didn't turn. It was dead. Through the glass, I saw a stranger sitting on my sofa, drinking my bourbon. I pounded on the door. It swung open, revealing my brother, Marcus, wearing my cashmere robe. He didn't look surprised, he looked bored. "You're trespassing," he sneered, blocking the entrance. "I sold this place last week." I froze. My own brother just told me he sold my home while I was overseas. I didn't cry. I didn't ask why. I didn't give him the satisfaction of watching his little sister break. I pulled my phone from my pocket and dialed 3 numbers. "Emergency services," the operator said. "I'm reporting a break-in in progress," I replied, my voice flat and precise. "There are unauthorized occupants in my residence. 1 male known to me, 1 male unknown. I am the sole owner of the property." Marcus laughed. It was a wet, careless sound. "Put the phone away, Elena. You're embarrassing yourself." He waved a stack of papers inches from my face. "It's done. Signed, sealed, delivered. I had power of attorney. Mom and Dad approved it. We needed the capital, and you weren't even using the place." I looked at him. Really looked. "My name is Elena Cross. I'm 29 years old. To my family, I'm the invisible daughter, the one who left Ohio for Chicago and never looked back. To everyone else, I'm a forensic auditor. I hunt hidden assets for a living. I trace money people would kill to keep buried." Marcus looked at me and saw a victim. I looked at him and saw a target. "The police are on their way," I told the operator, holding his gaze. The stranger on my couch stood. He wore a suit that cost more than my first car and didn't look afraid. He looked irritated. "This was Victor Hale. I paid $900,000 cash for this condo," he said, voice like gravel. "I have the deed. I have the keys. If you have family drama, take it outside. I'm trying to unwind." 900,000. The number hit me like a punch. This place was valued at nearly $2 million. Marcus hadn't just sold my home, he dumped it, burned my equity for speed. "You bought stolen property," I said to Hale. Then I turned back to Marcus. "And you didn't sell a condo. You signed a confession." Marcus stepped closer, using the same size he used when we were kids, when he'd pinch me until I bruised and tell our parents I was lying. He thought this was still that game. "Don't be dramatic," he hissed. "The money's already gone. I invested it. You'll thank me when the returns hit. Now get out before the cops come and I have to prove you're unstable." I didn't move. I leaned against the doorframe of the home I bought with 14-hour days and weekends I never took. I crossed my arms. "I'm not leaving, Marcus. I'm waiting for the sirens." A minute later, we heard them, the wail echoing off the glass towers of downtown Chicago. His smirk cracked. He thought he was playing Monopoly. He didn't realize he'd started a war. The officers were polite. They reviewed his paperwork, glanced at my passport, and delivered the shrug every fraud victim learns to hate. "It's a civil matter," one said. "He has a signed power of attorney and a recorded deed. You'll need court." Marcus waved from the balcony as they left, smiling like a man who thought he'd won. I stood on the sidewalk, wind cutting through my coat, and I didn't scream. They saw a woman locked out of her condo, the spare child, the unmarried daughter with no husband to shield her and no children to justify her existence. That's all my family ever saw. They thought I was a mouse. They had no idea they'd just locked a wolf out of its den. I walked into a coffee shop down the block. I needed Wi-Fi. I needed quiet. My family tells people I work with numbers. My mother says it dismissively before talking about Marcus's latest venture. They think I sit in a cubicle. The truth is sharper. I work for a private intelligence firm. I don't balance books. I track cartels. I trace terror financing through shell companies. I find money people would kill to keep buried. I opened my laptop. The glow steadied me. I bought that condo 5 years ago. It wasn't luxury, it was armor. Growing up, I fixed everything. When Marcus wrecked his car, I did his coursework so he wouldn't flunk. When my father's business books didn't add up, I stayed up until 3 in the morning correcting them so the IRS wouldn't notice. They never thanked me, they just expected it. I was the infrastructure, Marcus was the ribbon cutting. I remembered Christmas Eve 3 years ago. My mother toasted Marcus for landing a major fintech partnership. I knew it was a Ponzi scheme because I'd already checked the filings. I sat there, invisible. An hour earlier, I'd quietly wired $40,000 to my father's account to cover payroll. I saved them while they mocked me. I stared at the blinking cursor. For years, I protected them from themselves. I let them treat me like a servant because I thought that was the cost of belonging. But as I pulled up the digital deed Marcus used to forge it, something inside me recalibrated. It didn't break, it aligned. They thought they'd stolen a home from a helpless sister. They forgot I dismantle empires for a living. I decided right there, sitting in a vinyl booth with burnt coffee, that I wasn't going to sue them. That was slow. That was polite. I was going to audit them. I pulled up my family's financials. I didn't need passwords. I had built the system years ago to help my father manage his collapsing invoices. They never changed the credentials. Why would they? They didn't think I was a threat. One click, and the entire financial anatomy of the sale filled my screen. I traced the wire. $900,000 landed in Marcus's account on Tuesday. Where did it go? I didn't hack anything. I didn't need to. I followed the outgoing transfers. Marcus was sloppy, arrogant. He treated money like a toy. Transfer 1, $300,000 to a Jersey shell called North Star Consulting. I ran it through a watch list. Immediate hit. High-risk lending. Loan sharks. He wasn't funding a startup. He was paying off a gambling debt that was about to put him in traction. Transfer 2, $450,000 to a luxury marine broker. Down payment on a yacht. I stared at the screen. He stole my home to buy a boat. I opened Instagram. He'd posted an hour ago. Standing on a yacht deck, new watch, cigar in hand. Caption, "Big moves only, legacy loading." My mother commented hearts. His wife tagged champagne emojis. It was pathetic. A masterclass in weak man psychology. Marcus didn't want security. He wanted the costume of power. He believed if he looked important, he'd become important. He thought power was loud. He didn't understand that real power is invisible. Real power is sitting under fluorescent lights at midnight, holding the digital leash that can end his fantasy with one pull. I could have frozen the accounts immediately. I could have called the police, but I didn't. The yacht funds were still in escrow. 48 hours. If I stopped him now, he'd cry misunderstanding. No, I needed him to commit. I needed him to stand on the deck and declare victory, so the fall would break bone, not pride. I closed the laptop. I gave him 24 hours to play king. The next morning, my phone buzzed. A photo from Marcus. My condo. Empty. My books gone. My art stripped off the walls. Caption, "Liquidation complete. Locks changed again. Don't come back." He thought this was the victory lap. I stared at the empty room and felt no grief, just the clean, metallic snap of a trap closing. "It's over," I whispered, "just not for me." I walked back to the building an hour later. I didn't bring police. I didn't bring a locksmith. I brought a single manila folder. I buzzed the intercom. Delivery for Victor Hale. The door opened. Money makes people careless. The elevator carried me back to my condo. The door was open. Inside, Marcus was celebrating with Hale, drinking my champagne. Marcus's smile died when he saw me. Hale barely looked up. "You again?" he said. "I bought this place. Leave." "I'm not here to argue," I said, placing the folder on the counter. "I'm here to save you from a lawsuit." "Get out," Marcus snapped. "I sold it legally. Power of attorney. Mom and Dad approved." "You had power of attorney over me," I said calmly. "That lets you pay bills. It doesn't let you sell what you don't own. I sold your condo." "That's the problem," I said, opening the folder. "I don't own it." Silence. "6 months ago, I transferred the property into a revocable living trust," I continued. "The trust owns this unit. You signed as Elena Cross, not as trustee. You had zero authority." Hale leaned in, reading. His drink lowered. "It means your contract is void," I said. "You bought something Marcus had no right to sell." Hale stood slowly and turned to Marcus. "You sold me property you didn't own." "She's lying," Marcus stammered. "I have the money." "Do you?" I asked. He froze. The money was gone. "I want my money back," Hale said quietly. "I can't," Marcus whispered. You have 1 hour, Hale replied. I picked up my folder. If you're still here when police arrive, this becomes fraud. Marcus grabbed my arm. Please, he'll kill me. I pulled away. You wanted to be important. Important people pay their own debts. My parents rushed in minutes later, furious, not about the felony, but the money. They demanded I fix it. I refused. Family helps family, I said. Then I pointed at them. Sell your house, drain your retirement. His get is yours now. They stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. This condo is mine, I said. Get out. The police arrived. Marcus snapped. He lunged at me with a crystal award raised high. He never landed the blow. An officer tackled him. Glass exploded. Cuffs clicked. Marcus Cross, you're under arrest for fraud and attempted assault. I looked down at him. I didn't take anything from you, I said softly. I just stopped giving. After they left, the condo felt wrong, polluted. I called my realtor. Sell it, I said. The next morning, I walked away without looking back. I disappeared somewhere they can't point to on a map. But sometimes I wonder, was the violence inevitable? If this story stayed with you longer than the video itself, don't walk away. Subscribe. This channel is for people who actually feel what they hear. Months later, the noise finally faded. Court filings, subpoenas, phone calls from relatives who suddenly remembered my number. I didn't answer. I had learned the difference between family and proximity. Marcus took a plea. The yacht deal collapsed. The lenders collected what they could and moved on. My parents sold their house quietly. No farewell party, no speeches, just a square footage and a lifetime of entitlement reduced to square footage and regret. I never went back to Ohio. I didn't need closure. Closure is a luxury people ask for when they still hope the past will apologize. I moved cities again. New address, new routines. Same work. I still hunt money. I still follow the invisible trails people think no one will notice. The difference now is that I don't subsidize failure. I don't confuse loyalty with self-erasure. I don't donate my spine to people who mistake kindness for weakness. Sometimes, late at night, I replay the moment my brother realized the world wasn't going to bend for him anymore. Not with satisfaction, with clarity. Because the truth is simple and it's uncomfortable. Nothing I did was violent. I didn't steal. I didn't lie. I didn't destroy anything that wasn't already rotten. I just enforced boundaries they never believed applied to them. And when you stop feeding parasites, they call it cruelty. They call it betrayal. They call it unforgivable. I call it survival. Most people scroll past stories like this. The ones who subscribe are the ones trying to change something inside themselves. If this made you stop scrolling, subscribe.